Hello, my lovely people. It is Nicole, and today I'm going to be doing the Creatures of the Night book tag. This tag was just created by katytastic, and I thought, hey, it's October. Let's do some creepy Halloweeny things. So, the way this tag works is you have 10 creatures of the night, 10 different kinds of monsters, and you have to pick your favorite book containing those kinds of creatures. And when I was watching Kat's video, I noticed that a lot of the books that I instinctually wanted to choose for each creature were really similar to hers, so I tried to kind of mix it up a bit, so these aren't necessarily my top favorite books with those creatures, but I still like them, so let's get started. Okay, so the first one is vampires, and for this I chose Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. This book is awesome. There are 3 different kinds of vampires. There are Moroi, Strigoi, and Dhampir. The Dhampirs are half vampire, half human. They don't drink blood, but they have a lot of vampiristic qualities. They have a lot of the enhanced strength and just all that cool stuff without sort of any of the downsides of being a vampire. And then you have the Moroi, which are born vampires who drink blood, but they're moral, they're nice, you can't turn into a Moroi. And then you have the Strigoi, which are the sort of stereotypical evil, blood-sucking, gross, soulless vampires. The undead vampires. And it's like mixture of boarding school vampires. It's cool and it's awesome and it's a fantastic series. And the last book in the spin-off series is coming out that would be my cat, is coming out in, I think, either January or February. Next up, werewolves. For this, I chose Sinner by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a spin-off of the Shiver trilogy, the Wolves of Mercy Falls trilogy. I didn't choose that one just because I didn't like it as much. I didn't like the characters, I thought weren't as interesting or as intriguing as the main characters in Sinner. Although the whole werewolf issue doesn't really play into Sinner as much as it does in the Wolves of Mercy Falls, but still, it's a really, really good book featuring Cole and Isabel. Next up, zombies. This one, I don't read a lot of zombie books, so I didn't really have that much to choose from, so I got a little bit creative, and I went with Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This is pretty much high fantasy. It's high fantasy, and it's kind of an old book. It's also kind of heavy. But the zombies are, okay. Backstory. There was this big city that people got sort of randomly selected to be in, and the people who lived there had this sort of magical power, and they lived forever, and they were glowing with, magic, and they could heal and do spells and stuff. And then one day the city collapsed and everyone basically became a zombie. All their wounds don't heal, but they stay there, and they stay there forever. And like you can always still feel them, and they can function and they can talk, but like their flesh starts rotting off and it's gross and zombie-like, and zombies. It's not technically zombies, but I'm gonna go with it because I don't have anything else to go with. Sorry. Next up is Ghosts, and for this I'm going with The Archives by Victoria Schwab. Again, not technically ghosts, they're more like memories, but it's so cool. These ghosts are, or the histories of people who've died are kept in the archive, and the main character is someone who has to watch over the archive and get the ghosts and these histories back when they escape, and it's really, really cool. Next up is witches / warlock / spellcaster type person, and for this I went with Half Bad by Sally Green. I like this book because it's different. It's not sort of, a lot of, I think, witch and wizard books tend to be kind of happy, or if not necessarily happy, sort of everyone's on the same playing field. You have good witches and bad witches and all that stuff. And you're always seeing from the good witch's point of view. But with this one, the main character is a half code, half bad witch, half good witch. And he is basically told that because he's half bad, half good, that means that he's not allowed to interact with the good witches or do anything at all. He basically has to go to jail because of how he was born. And it's this whole elaborate thing, and it's really dark, and it's actually really good for Halloween, so you should pick this up. Half Bad by Sally Green. Next up, Fairies / Fae. For this one, I wasn't quite sure what to pick. So I went with one that it doesn't really get talked about in the booktube community, and I can understand why it doesn't. It is My Fair Godmother by Jeanette Rallison. This book is, I think it's middle grade, and it's not thought-provoking, really. It's not something that's going to blow your mind. It probably won't become your favorite book, but it's really, really, really fun. The primary plot line of this book is it's about this girl who is sort of down on her luck kind of person, and a fairy godmother shows up. But it's a fairy godmother in training. Her name is Chrissy, and she doesn't quite know what she's doing, so whenever she tries to help this girl, she sends her into different fairy tales, and hijinks ensue, and it's really funny, and a really light, quick read, and there's a sequel, and I think there's a third book coming out at some point. But yes, it's good. It's not amazing, but it is really, really, really fun, and there's some cool kind of fairy tale retelling type stuff in there, if you're into that, which I am. Kind of cheating on the next one too. The next one's Demons. I was trying not to go, like I said, I was trying to avoid just picking everything that Kat did, and so I was trying to think, okay, what do I have with demons in it other than Daughter of Smoke and Bone or City of the Mortal Instruments. So I'm kind of cheating here. Golden Compass by Philip Pullman. They're not demons in the sense that we typically think of demons, but the companions that everyone in this world has are called demons. So, Golden Compass. Be surprised if you didn't know what this is about. It's kind of a class. It's basically a classic at this point, so if you don't know what it's about, just pick it up. It's cool. It's fantasy. It's awesome. Angels, however, I could not get around picking either City of Bones or Daughter of Smoke and Bones. So, City of Bones, Mortal Instruments, Nephilim, half angels, not really half angels, descendants from angels, I guess. Mortal Instruments, hard to describe book. I've tried to describe it to people a number of times. Really hard to sum up in just a couple of words. City of Bones, Cassandra Clare. Read it if you haven't yet. Next up is Aliens, and for this I went with Cinder by Marissa Meyer. And this book, the aliens are, they're close aliens. They're from the moon. I don't know if they technically count as aliens, but I'm gonna count them as aliens. So, it's fairy tale retellings. Each book sort of deals with a primary different fairy tale character. This one is Cinderella, the next one is Red Riding Hood, the third one is Rapunzel, and the fourth one is going to be Snow White. So we have, and they're sort of interacting with these lunar people. Aliens! Yes, sci-fi, it's cool. Read it. I'm saying that on all of these. They're all good books. You know, just read everything. Yeah. Last one is Superpowered Humans. And for this, I had to go with Percy Jackson. It's one of my favorite book series of all time. It really is. And I've sort of just had Percy on the mind lately because I haven't read Book of Olympus yet. Blood of Olympus. What is wrong with me? I haven't read Blood of Olympus yet. But I'm super excited because on Wednesday I get to go to San Francisco and meet Rick Riordan and get a signed copy, and I'm super excited! So, Superpowered Humans. Demigods. Powers. Greek mythology. Yes. Percy Jackson. Awesome. Okay, so that was the entire tag. The Creatures of the Night tag. Super fun, super Halloween-y. I like it. I feel cool because I am wearing my awesome scaly dragon rider top and my dragon ear cuff. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really cool. I'm gonna stop talking now. I love you all, and I will see you later. Mwah.